3, 2.
And welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean. Tells me I'm a Zennial under me here.
I'm Brian, Gen X.
And I am a millennial. My name is Nick, and I'm accompanied right here by the embodiment of what happens if you feed Brian's beard after midnight. It spawns tiny little puppies that look like this. It's very, very delightful, actually, to find out. If this is your first time joining us, we are three
I'm going to
friends.
feed Brian's beard later.
And get it wet. Three friends representing three different generations. We discuss all things pop and nerd culture, and you can find us on the interwebs if you go to our Convincing Idiots link tree. Shush your face. Convincing Idiots link tree, LINKTREE.
Nice.
As well as on our website.
Put him close to your mic. I'd rather hear him than you.
Do you want to wind into there? There we go. Yeah, he's saying hi. Yeah, his mom is not in the room right now, and he's simply beside himself. He doesn't know what to do.
See.
Anyway, we
Don't
can also
do that a lot, Nick?
I do. We can also be found on our website. That's convincingidiots.wordpress.com. WORDPRESS.com. There you will find links to all of our social media pages, as well as links to the podcast, our most recent podcasts, YouTube, our email addresses on there, all that good stuff, as well as Meet Your Host sections and all kinds of fun things. So we are here for another episode of Convincing Idiots. Gizmo doesn't want to be here anymore, so he's going to go down on the ground.
He is not convinced.
Someone convince me of what's been going on with you. What have you been doing?
Gizmo can sense, by the way, the reason he's crying is he can sense out there that some of you have not subscribed or liked the page, or you're just not fully connected to the show yet. So the Gizmo will continue to be sad on camera until you do your part out there, please. So that's one of the cutest puppies on the entire earth. Don't make that puppy cry.
Yeah, he does not appreciate that. Neither do I.
No, thank you.
He is adorable, but it's annoying.
Yes, absolutely. So Nick asked how we're doing.
Like you, Nick.
There you go.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, I get that.
So Dean, how are you? What's new?
I am lovely.
Yes.
Right as rain, brother. Right as rain. I don't even know what the hell day it is, let alone what I did this past weekend.
Well, if it's Tuesday, then that means you're recording Convincing Idiots. And if you're listening to this, that means it's Thursday because the new episode just dropped. Congratulations. You're in the right spot. Go on,
awesome.
Dean.
I appreciate that, Nick. You've just jarred my memory.
Yes.
I'm doing Convincing Idiots.
Yes.
No, let's see. My son
his name's Carter,
baseball.
By the way, I'll help you with that too.
Appreciate that. Sometimes I forget. Carter started baseball. Never done it before, and he's doing pretty well. Had a pretty good game the other day, and then we went to batting cages tonight, and doing much better than I could back then or now. So
nice, awesome.
That's about it for me.
What number does he wear?
4.
Number 4. Did he pick his number, or is that just assigned to him?
Nah, I mean, the coach just was pulling it out of the box that they came in and was tossing the kids.
Okay.
Yeah, it fit him, so they threw it to him.
Gotcha.
There you go. That's where it all started, right there.
That's right.
Yep.
Cool. Brian, what did you do this weekend?
Well, I had the pleasure of seeing you, Nick, on Sunday.
You did.
Yes, Dean was invited, but he had some kids that were a little cranky, it sounds like. But
little bit.
Lovely girlfriend Allie and I met Nick and his kids and mom and uncle and some of their friends. So at the Oktoberfest in Brimfield this way. So we had some delicious, authentic German food, music, beers, big beers, German beers.
I'm doing Oktoberfest.
Very
Nice.
good. So great time, great afternoon. We had a lot of fun just sitting there relaxing and chilling out and talking. It was a great time. And I have a lot of
That's fun.
emotions today. Today is Tuesday, September the 14th, and today is my only daughter's 21st birthday today.
Happy birthday, Peyton.
Yes.
That probably does not listen to this, but nevertheless, the vibes
If
are out
she's
there in the
watching
universe.
it, Peyton, where are we at? Cheers.
Yeah. There you
Cheers.
go. Awesome. So
Wow.
yeah, I'll see her soon. I mean, we chatted, of course, today and all that. She had other plans this evening with her boyfriend and his family. It's a lot. It's like her mom and I are not together. His parents are split up, so she's trying to get around to see all these people, and it's a lot. So I'll see her soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the emotions when you have a kid that's turning 21 years of age. Definitely a lot of reflection over the past few days for me. Just certainly she's growing up. She's now official young adult, can go out and do whatever she wants to do, anywhere she wants to go, obviously. And then for me, it's a sign you're getting a little older too and everything. But yeah, it's just
If I was the emperor, I would say, I can feel your anger.
Yeah. It's not even that. It's just, you miss
the beard
it
covers up the clenching of the jaw.
It does. It does. You miss the times that she's growing up, but then also you're happy that she's excited and she's a whole new world for her. You remember yourself being that age and thinking
Fantastic
that
point of
the
view.
world is your
I actually do not remember
oyster,
a lot
I
of my
guess.
21st birthday.
Yeah. So
it was
that's
last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I just came out of that. I don't even know. Woke up and I'm doing a podcast with you guys, apparently. I don't know.
What is going on here?
Let's cheers to Peyton. So cheers, Peyton.
Cheers, Peyton.
Cheers, Peyton.
21st
Happy
birthday. I love you. If you're listening to this, I love you very much. I'm very proud of you. And so many more good memories as you grow into adulthood. So that's what I got going on. So
you're making your father sad. Call your father.
Call your dad when you get a minute. He misses you. Just 15 minutes. It means the world to him.
Would it hurt you to pull in and come say hi for a moment?
Yeah.
You're breaking his heart. You're breaking his heart.
She does come to dinner at least once a week. She does make time to do that.
Besides her birthday week.
Besides her birthday, yes, that's right. So, Nick, how are you, sir?
I'm good. My kids won't leave me alone. They're always around.
Yeah. Someday they will. Someday they will, and you will.
I have a feeling they're not.
Yeah. I do, and I man, maybe not. I don't know.
Lane will be like, and Lane was kind enough to share many podcast ideas at the Oktoberfest. Yeah, Lane will be 45 and say, Dad, listen, you guys are on your 3,000th episode of Convincing Idiot. I have an idea.
Yeah,
I have an idea for you.
The wheels are always turning on that kid. Always turning.
Yeah.
We need creative direction.
That's true. We do. I think he recognizes that. I think that's why he's so adamant about it. There he is, creeping around the corner, actually, out of nowhere, as if by some form of radar he heard his name from upstairs when he should be sleeping.
Pops, I recognize that your podcast, it's shit.
It is. All right. I love you. Good night.
That's what
Convincing Idiots is awesome.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, sir.
That's not what he said Sunday.
That's
not what he said. That's not what he said Sunday.
No,
you're right.
No. He had some pointers for us.
Did he just yell "World Star"?
No, he said TikTok sucks because he feels like I think I've created a thing in his mind where YouTube and TikTok are at odds. There can only be one, so that's the side he's chosen. Anyway. I was actually just saying to Brian when we were at the Oktoberfest that I was like, at one point, I was like, what do you guys got, to him and his girlfriend, Allie? I said, what do you guys got going on the rest of the day? They just kind of look at each other and he goes, I don't know. What do you want to do after this, hon? And she's like, I don't know. It's like, maybe we'll go home, watch some of the game, order some food, whatever. And it's like, well, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with whatever. And I was like, I fully understand that these are the best days of my life because they truly are. And you always look back on when your kids are small. I was like, but man, when you're in the thick of it, it's like, I know after I leave there, you're getting ready for everything. There's chores to be done, and then the school starts on Monday, and then it's another week of soccer. And I'm like, I looked forward to the day when Robin and I could just be like, what do you feel like doing today? Like, I don't really care, whatever. And it's nice. But no, Ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys of life. It's
Yes.
all
Try
it's
getting
all good.
try
in its own
getting a
way.
divorce. You get a lot more opportunities
Yeah,
to do that also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Not too bad.
And what we did, Nick, is we got a pizza on the way home, and we set
Mhm.
up the TV on the front porch, and we watched the rest of the Browns game on the front porch and chilled out. That's what we did the rest of the afternoon. That was
Well,
pretty
that
nice.
sounds lovely.
It
That
was.
sounds
The
quite nice.
the sun set. They both had Afghans in their laps.
Yep.
Holding hands.
Each
Yep.
knitting each other's sets of
Rocking.
mittens.
Yep.
as
Had a
they,
cat.
You know.
Had a cat, which is odd.
But
I
even
only
their
have-
cat.
I-
It's just
I
a
only
random
have one
cat just popped up on his lap.
Yeah, I only have one cat. We had two cats, so it's just,
Yeah.
who knows where the other one came from. Yep.
Yeah.
But all right, well, good.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, that's I don't really know. We had Ollie's first soccer game on Saturday, so that went well. He did well, played hard, played a little bit of goalie, defense, offense. Like we like to, move the kids around a little bit, make sure they try everything. Did some running around Saturday, nothing too crazy, but yeah, Sunday it was nice to see Brian and Allie out there at the Oktoberfest. It was a good time. So always fun going out there and leave there full and happy. So it was good.
Well, I wish I'm sad that I wasn't able to make it, guys.
We missed
Yep.
you.
Yep. There'll be more times.
Aw.
More
Yeah.
times. Okay.
God
So now
willing, and the creek don't rise.
It seems that it's not so much Brian and I can't be together. It's just the
Mhm.
three of us all together at one place
Right.
is not practical. But
Well, if you watch
except
the
for here on a video call once a week.
well, if you're watching the YouTube, or if you haven't watched YouTube, I highly recommend it. We're handsome fuckers. The charisma just
Some
cannot
people will
be
never
contained.
forgive you for leading them into that.
Well, good luck. You judge on your own. But the charisma, I don't think can be contained when we're all physically in one place together. It's like a
Yes.
one of those. It's like an exploding star or some shit like that.
Right. Yes, we have to figure out this exploding star in our upcoming live episode. We're going to be coming up on 1 year of doing this show, believe it or not, fairly soon. So we're talking about a live episode. So stay tuned for more information on that. But we want to do a surprise practice one unannounced because we don't know when we're going to do it. But that'll be coming up as well.
It'll be a surprise to us as well.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
We're looking forward to more information on that.
But you're right. The three of us together may implode the Ignite Brewery. We're not sure. We'll see how it goes.
Shit gonna get wacky.
Yes, absolutely. Okay.
Another reason to watch the YouTube videos, if you have listened to past episodes and you pick up on certain jokes, it is a nice callback to last week's episode that Brian is wearing his aforementioned Vertifirk shirt from TeePublic with the Swedish Chef. Very nice. Appreciate that.
You got a Tease Public shirt on yourself there, pal.
I do. I got myself a little Spawn Batman mashup. It's the Spawn logo in the old Batman style.
Nice.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
I did want to mention that since you had brought it up, Nick. The YouTube. I don't think because I was watching it the other day, and I don't think if you're listening on the podcast feeds, that's fine. That's fantastic. But I don't.
But
think
Dean loves you a little bit.
A little bit
the
less.
people watching on YouTube.
But there's a lot of jokes that we tell to each other, or maybe stuff that you're going to pick up a lot more on the video feed. So I know a lot of people don't have, the means or the times for the YouTube videos. But if you do, I do think it's worth a listen or a viewing of this show on the YouTube. So if you're just listening to the podcast feed and you get a chance, pop over to the YouTube show or video. It's the same thing. Brian puts on some fun graphics on it. It's a good time. But I think there's a lot of back and forth that you might not quite catch, or you get and understand a lot more visually seeing it. I just wanted to throw that out there, guys.
I mean, we are deep thinkers. We're deep people. We put a lot of effort into
Deep
what goes
penetration, maybe.
We put a lot of effort in what goes beyond simply the sonic version of convincing idiots. So, I mean, it's really a whole production. I mean, you could listen to the soundtrack of a Broadway musical, or you could take it all in and watch it.
Exactly.
The visuals, the music, everything hits all the senses at once. I mean,
Yep. On
you
occasion,
don't
I
want to miss
spill
that.
beer. I spill beer in my beer, and a puppy
Mhm.
pops out. Just
That's
just
right.
like that.
That's
Just
right.
like that.
Yeah. You can't
Yep.
see that shit nowhere else. You better watch the YouTubes.
Yep. I think Gizmo. I spilled bourbon. I think, and he popped
Yep,
out.
that's
Nice.
how it
Yep.
came
I
out.
guess that's what it was. Yep.
Makes sense.
Yep. If you didn't see the episode, can't.
Got to go
You
back
missed
and
it.
watch all the old ones to
You
see
missed
which
it.
one had happened.
Mhm.
I don't recall what episode it was. It could have been number 1.
Yep.
It could have been number 54. I don't
You're
remember.
gonna have to watch them all, I guess.
I don't
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
No, I mean, really, if you're only watching or only listening to the audio, you're not going to be able to recognize the fuck me eyes that Brian keeps giving to Nick all throughout the show.
Mhm.
So it's really that there is a price of admission. So
It's
Sure.
a little less intense now that Brian and I have shared some alone time this weekend.
Right,
So
Yes.
some of the edge off is off of that.
they blew that lid right there, and mhm.
Blew the lid right off of that Stein, didn't they?
That's right.
All right, so guys, we're talking this week about just again more just general pop culture headlines. So
About
we would
generals?
be well, sort of.
Okay.
That's an interesting segue here. So
That's what I
we-
do.
we
And I'll
would-
yell at Nick for it every time.
Sometimes.
we
Yeah.
are
We know who does the segues. Lessons have been learned. We know.
no, but we are obviously we keep this to a very light topic show, pop culture, fun, making fun of each other and all
Also
that.
talking about my weight.
That's yep. Or my lack of muscles or age or something up to that effect.
Oh, you don't have a lack of age.
Lack of age. That's funny. That's
About
good.
how young I am all the
Yep.
time. It's like
That's
all anybody
right.
can talk about.
My youthful looks.
That's right. Nick's,
I can't
Nick's
believe
tiny,
that one's the oldest. That's crazy.
Nick's tiny T-shirts that I
My
think
tiny
he
t-shirts.
shares with
He
Gizmo.
should
I
stop
think
with
as well.
Nick's tiny
Nick-
enough.
Nick is
Like,
tiny.
I know what's coming.
Nick is a tiny person. That's just it. It's just tiny. Everything. He's a tiny baby.
But we have to pause for a second here and and recognize that this was the 20th anniversary of the terrible tragedy of 9/11, September 11th, 2001. Obviously, we all know what happened. If you don't need to go rehash exactly what happened here. So, a huge moment for this country and the world, where the United States was attacked, and 3,000 plus people lost their lives. People that were just going to work in the office building, firefighters, rescue workers, very brave people. So certainly our thoughts go out to those who did lose
Not even
people.
to mention the first responders, or not
Absolutely.
even the first responders, but the people that did the cleanup that got like cancer and whatnot.
That's right. Certainly. Right.
And that has suffered through, going past. So
Absolutely. So terrible tragedy in this country, and certainly will go down in history. And we should all pause to recognize that, even if you're a younger person and not that familiar with it, go back and read about it, understand it, reflect on it. It could happen again if we're not careful. So just that's it. So, but we don't want to get too much into it. But we did think we would pause here for a minute and just reflect on where were you? And obviously, we, as you can see if you're watching us, and as you've listened to us at all, we're from 3 different generations. I am the oldest, and then followed by Gene, then Nick. So, we're all at very different places in our lives 20 years ago. So. Why don't we start with the youngest person here? So Nick, obviously 20 years ago, you were still a very young person.
Yeah.
But what happened? What did you see? Where were you? How did you reflect on 9/11? 20 years ago. Go ahead.
I remember I remember it plain as day. It was actually picture day at school.
Oh, really?
I was in the 8th grade, and
8th grade. Wow.
we went to up on the stage. There was like a stage that in the middle school that I was in that separated the cafeteria and the gym, but it was kind of a two-sided stage. So we went up on the stage and through the lunchroom side and had our pictures taken. And as we got done taking our pictures, we filed back to our rooms one by one after our pictures were done. And I remember sitting down and, typically when something like that happens or, people are slowly filing back into the room from, an assembly or pictures or whatever, the TV's usually on. They would, throw the TV on. It was usually like that Channel 1 news that was like for kids and stuff. They would have the TV on and the teacher would usually be at the desk or something. But I remember walking into my homeroom and noticing that, like, I mean, most of the kids are just some of the kids are looking at the TV, some are just doodling or talking or whatever. But I noticed that our teacher, as well as a couple of the other teachers, were all huddled around the TV, and they were all kind of standing right under it, with their kind of like, hand, like you could just tell, physically by their body language that something was up. Like that the teachers typically were using this time to grade papers or catch up with something, do something, whatever. But they were all huddled around and talking and stuff like that. And I mean, it honestly, when it happened, I didn't know. I wasn't that familiar with what the World Trade Center was. Like, I mean, you see the skyline. I think the Empire State Building in New York sticks out to you. But then at this time, I'd never been to New York City, so I didn't really know what was going on. And then, initially they thought it was a bomb, and then it turned into a plane crash. And then you saw the other plane come into the second tower, the South Tower, or I believe it was the South that was hit second, north south. I don't remember. I don't remember, but
yeah.
The hit the after the second plane hit the second tower, and just kind of being weirded out by it, because then the verbiage goes from a bomb or something that has something that's maybe someone did on purpose or may have been accidental into like terrorist attack, and you're like, that's got a whole other implication, and it kind of takes it to a whole other stratosphere in your brain, especially at that age. And we, and certainly in my lifetime, just never been through anything like that. And then I remember, like, I got called up to the office, and my dad came and like got me out of school just because like they didn't know, nobody really knew what was going on and or how afraid or alarmed to be. And at this time, there really wasn't the uh, flooding of information like there is now. We didn't all have smartphones. We, had cell phones and stuff like that, but we, it wasn't nowhere near on the level that it is today to where you had every bit of news at your fingertips at any given moment. So that actually really freaked me out. I was like legit like nervous when my dad came to get me out of school because I'm like, what, like, how afraid should I be? Like, what's, and he was like, he's like, I don't think we need to be afraid necessarily. It's just, just a big deal. And he got off work at like noon every day. So he just, when he got out, he came and pulled me out of school and stuff. But yeah, I was a kid in middle school. It was definitely, it's funny, not funny, but it's odd, I guess is funny is the wrong word. It seems like most, as time goes on, over the years, different things about it kind of hit me. Like it was scary at the time, and then it, you get older and you think about like what some of the people went through. And even this year, I mean, every year around this time, we're watching specials and stuff like that about people's stories. And Friday night, I was watching something that really caught me. They were playing the voicemail, that we've all heard, voice messages of people on the planes or, what various positions throughout all this. And one guy left a voicemail for his wife. He was in the World Trade Center, and he was above where the first plane had hit, and he was just leaving the message that he didn't know what was going to happen. But he said that he's like, tell the kids I love them. And the last thing he said before he hung up the phone was, he said, save this message forever, which like just hit a weird, like just a whole different chord, because I think about shit like that personally. Like when I've got voicemails saved on my phone of people that I love dearly that are still with me. That really struck a chord to me, and knowing that, of
My
course,
voice messages?
yes, of course, yes.
Okay, good.
But definitely as a father and just kind of relating to that now, that level of people and the trauma, it just really, really struck a chord with me, and thinking of like what must be going through your mind, as a father, and knowing that like you might not, like you're living in the reality that you don't know what's going to happen, but you might die today, and like having the time to think about your kids.
When
Might
you
have
leave
to
a
hear your
voicemail
voice
like
on a
that, it's
voicemail like
not
that.
even. When you leave a voicemail like that, it's not even a what's going to happen.
Right.
This
Yeah.
situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, but yeah, just obviously, Brian, you summed it all up really well. It just, your thoughts go out to people who were involved in any way, shape, or form in that. People who were lost, people who lost someone, people who are still dealing with the effects of it today. It is encouraging, and I told Rob, and I said, it's easy now, and I'm not saying anything we don't all know, but it's easy right now in today's climate we're in a or B society. You are this or you're that, and if you're this, then that also means you're not that, and you're all these things, and you're none of these things, and I feel like it's easy to get cynical sometimes, as far as like the way society is right now, but I think, and I like to believe, that in a scenario like that, where shit actually hits the fan, regardless of what politics you have, or what beliefs you have, or what any of that, I like to think that when shit actually hits the fan and you can see and stare death in the face, that people would band together. And that's something that I think is important to remember from that day, because that was, for me, the biggest lesson, I guess, for that day. There was a lot of as much trauma and horrifying things happened that day. There was a lot of encouraging acts and people helping each other, and there's a lot of people alive today that simply wouldn't have survived, that were in that scenario, had it not been for a complete stranger that day that was near them or was able to help them. So I won't go on too much longer, but yeah, it's it's crazy to think it's been 20 years, but yeah, I was in middle school, and it's something that you never, everybody says never forget, but you really don't. I don't think you can forget something like that. So we'll go backwards order. I was the youngest. Dean, what about you? Where were you on September 11th, 2001?
September 11th, 2001. I was 20 years old. I was working a summer job at for the city of Barberton, for the Parks Department. And it was September, so it was coming down the end of the summer. We were up on top of the natatorium, which, for everybody listening who not from here, was our rec center, exercise, swimming pool. We were on the roof cleaning these big vents and fans and whatnot. We pull them off, wash them, put them back on. And it was my job, and I'm summer help, so they send the extension cord down through the ceiling to go plug it in. And so I go down there, walk down, and I walk past the elliptical machines, and the TVs above were playing them. With elliptical machines, there's no sound on them, right? So it's just, you're just seeing the video. And I look up and I see the smoke coming out of one of the towers, and just a couple years before, somebody, I think, like a little Cessna prop plane hit like the Empire State Building and dented it. You know what I mean? And so I thought that's what it was. So I went back up to the guys upstairs, and up on the roof, and I said, "Guys, you got to get a load of this." Another idiot flew a prop plane into the World Trade Centers. You learn how to fly or whatever, until one of the girls that worked down there came running up a few minutes later and said, "There's a giant plane hit the World Trade Centers. The city's recalling all of its employees to get back to their hub, their whatever garage." So so now it's real, and so we went back and we spent the time in the office. Everybody's huddled around the TV, and like Nick said, everybody came together. It was the one and only time everybody was glad that our president was a Texan who's gonna kick ass, and everybody was all together for it. And then the other plane hit, and that's when everybody said, "Okay, nobody's going anywhere. there was going to be a concert there that, excuse me, there was going to be a concert at the lake that we were going to have to go set up for. We went there, but the concert was canceled, so we all just sat there. I think a lot of us slept in the trucks, just waiting for news to just go home. And finally we did. And then you spend them, me and all my roommates spent the rest of the evening watching the TV and stuff. Remember, we lived across the street from a gas station, and people lined up down the whole street, thinking that, because they're saying it's terrorists going to come from Middle East gas, and so people are lined up worried that there's going to be no gas or gas shortage. So we sat on the front lawn and drank beer and watched them. Then we decided to drive around that night, and that was the weirdest thing because, as you guys remember, no planes. Every plane was grounded for like days upon days.
Mm-hmm.
It was so quiet. Nobody's on the streets. Gas station closed, so everybody went home. So there's no planes. There's nobody on the streets. We drove by a building. That's all I'm going to say. A building, and you discovered what they make and said factory, right? Because one of the bay doors open was not normally open, and they were shipping out this gigantic bomb. Yeah, I mean it was
here.
What? I'll get more specific off air. I don't know
Sure.
if
Wow.
I should. But yeah, and when we pulled up, we slowed down. And I'm like, Larry, I don't think we should be seeing this, let alone stopping to see this. So let's keep going, because there's a Jeep there and the whole deal. So yeah, it was that ours went into the whole rest of the night and kind of hung out and watched. You just watch everything on TV that you can, and like you'd said, Nick, every day, shortly after that, everybody, or not shortly, but immediately after that, and it only lasted a short time, but everybody was on the same page. Everybody was American. Everybody was together. What sucks is that death and destruction is what brings us together. We are so far apart in our camps nowadays. I don't want to see us be brought together like that. I wish there was another way. But back then, we were all brought together, unfortunately, by death and destruction and evil and hatred. And a lot of people had to die for that to happen. So that's where I was 20 years ago. Brian?
Well, I was 20 years ago. I would have been 32 years of age, and as I had mentioned at the beginning of this show, my daughter's birthday is September 14th. So she was almost almost 1 year. Wow. Exactly. So just 3 days off 1 year. I was getting ready to take her. I was going to take her up to the Cleveland Zoo with my parents and her mom at the time. And I was getting ready to go, and my parents came to pick me up, and I had the news on, and I saw the first plane just by happenstance. I saw the story of the plane hitting, and you first react, this is a terrible tragedy, and then so I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible. I remember just getting in the car, telling my parents, oh my God, it was a terrible accident, and then we're listening to the radio, and then you realize what's happening. The second plane hits, the attack on the Pentagon, and all these things, and we just kind of went through the motions, and still picked up Peyton and Wendy, or her mother, and just just didn't really know what to do other than we plan to do this. We're just going to try to have a nice. At this point, you're just numb,
Right.
and you're realizing the country's under attack. So we just kept driving, and inevitably got to the Cleveland Zoo, and it was closed, and we just kind of stopped and had lunch. But it was a very eerie. So we went all the way to Cleveland Zoo. And they said they were closed, and my dad at the time, he's just like, what are they going to do? They go attack the zoo? You know, my dad was my dad.
Sure.
Yeah, that was a clip of my dad. It's just like that. That was my dad right there. Like, hey, oh, you're ruining our time. It's, yeah. But rest in peace, Dad. That's one thing. That was him. Like, hey, we're here with my family. We're going to go to the zoo. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. Anyways, then we came back and we stopped and we had lunch up toward Cleveland there, and it was like very, and you saw military planes flying over and all this stuff, and just that feeling of, oh my gosh, my baby girl is just brought into this earth, and all this stuff is happening. It's not like it's not that I was worried that anything was going to happen to her right that day, but it was just like, oh my gosh, just to think that this country could be attacked. It was all these things that I recalled that a couple of days prior, literally, I was at the Cleveland Indians game, and I happened to get a Lowe's ticket for my work at the time. And just sitting there, I reflected on that as well. That day was like a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and the Lowe's and all this stuff. And 2 days later, that happened, and just like that was like, wow. And America just and that quickly just changed, and for a long period of time. Not so much anymore, but for a long period of time. You couldn't go anywhere without being searched and all this and that. But you guys both spoke to it, that I've never in my life since felt as patriotic at that point as I did around that time, where you were angry in you motherfuckers attacked America. And if anybody would have asked me to do anything at that point, I would have done it. You know what I mean? If they would have had some type of a draft or something to where we need people to do something, whatever that is. I'm not saying I'm going to go shoot
that far, but
I'm saying at the time, I was thinking in my 30s. That was like, hey, I got to protect my kid here, who's I'm not saying I wanted to go out and kill people necessarily, but you know what I'm trying to say. It was that sense of
a lot of people did do that.
Well, that's true. A lot of people enlisted at the time. There was a lot of people went into the service at that point because of that, to fight for their country and everything. I remember I had an American flag on my car. The only time I ever had that in my life, it was and everybody had it. It's like flags everywhere. It was very unifying. I guess it was a terrible tragedy to bring everybody together. And like you say, it showed in a weird way. It showed the roots of this nation in all this fucked up shit that's even with the bipartisan this and that and all this politics and garbage. We all can unify. We all can come together if we look beyond jobs and votes and power and all this crap that drives so much stuff today. At the end of the day, if we need to, we can rise to the occasion and come together as a nation, regardless of how old you are, what color you are, what sex you are, doesn't matter. So that showed that this country is definitely capable of that. So anyway, just a very, very strange time, and very shocking,
surreal.
Numbing. Yeah, it really was. It still is to this day, when you go back and reflect on it. So if I'm a pop culture piece, I mentioned this on another show, but 60 Minutes this past weekend, if you haven't seen it, they did a very beautiful piece on the New York Fire Department. Very touching, moving story. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. You can see it on their CBS On Demand or on a podcast, 60 Minutes. But it talks to people who were there, firefighters who were there in that moment, kids of firefighters who their parents lost their lives, and some of them went on to become firefighters because of that. To honor that. Yeah, so just a very, there's many things to look at, many heroes, but that was a nice piece that was just this past Sunday to go check out. But I don't know. So Anyway, so it definitely impacted all of us in a similar way, even though we were younger. Definitely something that was stuck with all of us. So probably a good time to go ahead, Dean.
Like you'd said, there was we'd all come together like collectively, not just like mentally, but like emotionally, spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
We all came together 20 years
Right.
ago.
Yeah.
And it really, Nick, you were a little too young to probably get that, what that felt like as an adult being and living in that moment. Like it kind of chokes me up a little bit. But I wish, like, even today, all of us would come together and at least go to blakeinsurance.com. Like if you're out there, know that Blake Insurance, it's an Erie insurance agency located right here, Barberton, Ohio. They offer auto, home, renters, business, life insurance. You see, Erie Insurance is above all else insurance. Call 234-571-5359. Or like I said, all of you come together. Go to blakeinsurancellc.com. It's free.
And it's the American thing to do.
Quote, like an American.
Wow.
American.
I'm not sure that was the best segue into Blake Insurance. But yeah.
You're an American. You want things to be convenient and quick and easy.
Wow.
5-minute quote.
Wow.
Blake Insurance.
Whew. Way to bring us back here, Dean. Bring us back into the.
That's what I do.
There you go.
That's what I do.
Okay. All right. So this is a good time to pause and take a break. And on a serious note, we all said it before. Our thoughts go out to those who had lost their lives, that are still dealing with this terrible tragedy
Today,
at this point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we'll take a pause here and a little moment of silence, and then we will come back to the normal ridiculousness of the show, talk about a few things pop culture-y, and end on a lighter note. So we will be right back.
Three. Mm-hmm.
And we are back with Convincing Idiots. Like because you were listening earlier. My name's Dean, the Zennial. We got Brian. Right?
That's it.
Brian Gen X. Yep.
And then Nikolai.
And then my name's Nick. And mm-hmm.
But we had a sobering section there before the break. Now we're going to get back to a little bit of levity. At least what we think are jokes. Can't promise anything really, but Brian, what are some of the headlines there that we're going to get into?
Yeah, one of the things that's been pretty big on the social media and beyond is Blue's Clues on Nickelodeon. We all probably know what that show is, with the little cute blue dog, and it's a kids show. Is celebrating its 25th year on the air, apparently, on Nick Jr. I should say. I said Nickelodeon, but Nick Jr. And the original host, Steve, back in the time, kind of left the show rather suddenly, and his brother came on and did the show, and there was all kinds of things, I guess, apparently. Why did he leave, and all kinds of speculation and this and that and the other. But he's been sort of quiet in the social media world for quite a long time. But he came back and recorded this show where he's talking to the kids that grew up with him, it sounded like, and It's just going everywhere. It's very, very touching. I didn't watch Blue's Clues for my own entertainment. I mean, I think Peyton watched it a little bit when she was little, here and there. I remember it being on TV and stuff like that. I thought this was a decent kids show. I mean, it's wholesome and everything else. But I didn't have any personal connection to Steve necessarily. But I don't know. I just thought that for me the message was very touching in the sense of him really speaking to people.
Earnestly.
Yeah, that kind of grew up with him, and that the different trials and tribulations of life and this and that. But I found myself getting emotional just watching this him do this. I thought it was very, very very good, very kind and sincere. I don't know, so it just kind of impacted me a little bit here, and it has many people as well. So
Did you see
did you
the
guys see this?
Colbert?
Go ahead.
Did you see the Colbert where he was on Colbert?
I saw him hugging in a picture, but I didn't see the actual clip.
Watch the clip. He presents it and shows it perfectly, because he said the same thing that you just did, and that probably us too. We were past that. We were too old for that.
Mm-hmm.
We may have had nieces, nephews, or cousins, or whatever that watched it, so we were aware of it. But it really did not impact us. And Colbert, with that said, played the clip, and he would stop it, like when Steve would say something, he'd be like, "Okay," and he got more emotional as he was watching it. Like, "Oh, I'm a man; I'm not supposed to get emotional." And it's a great bit, but it was perfect, because I did the same thing. I'm watching, going, "Fuck, that kind of hits you right here." Well, I didn't watch this show, but wow, this guy, I mean, the way he was talking, and I had watched a documentary years before. Once again, not like a full documentary, but there was a show did a bit on him, and it said why. I mean, he didn't say it in the clip exactly why he had left. I guess yes, to go to college, but also he had some mental things going on because he was losing his hair, and like he was a young guy, and he had to be in front of the camera, and he was getting older, and it was messing with him. So he decided to just go to college, leave it all behind, and deal with it. Obviously, because if you see anything that he's on now, he's got a ball cap on. He's not showing that. But yeah, it really touched me a lot more than it should have.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was like, wow, yeah, that hits you right in the feels there.
Yeah. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, same thing. I watched that and I was like, "Oh, this is really nice." At first, I thought it was going to be kind of this funny thing, and then I was like, and same as you guys mentioned. I mean, I was too old for Blue's Clues, but I got a cousin that's 7 years younger than me, and she was a big Blue's Clues fan, so I saw a lot of it being around her as a kid, and so I'm familiar with Steve, and I remember when they changed it to the other guy, and there was like Brian said, speculation. People talk about he's gone drugs or what, I don't know, whatever, that he had to leave or for this reason or that. But yeah, it was like really well done. I don't know who was in charge of this, if it was in it. I mean, he had the backdrop of like the living room,
Right.
I think,
It had
behind
to
him.
have been
So it had to be
with an
somehow
association
through
at least.
Nickelodeon or something.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really well done, like because he did when he was on the show. What I remember, he always spoke that way. He was always very earnest and direct, but calm, and just measured
with the hands
and measured, and he still he did that same thing,
right?
But it wasn't, you don't. But that was the thing too. They never really talked to the kids like kids. There was always. I mean, they're talking about kid things and they're putting clues together. What would we use with a rake? And I mean, yes, kid things, but it was very on their level. You know what I mean? It was very direct to them.
Well,
and that's what this video was, but it's talking about, like adult things. And he's like, wow, and now, like, because it was just funny the way he came in and he said, hey, remember when we were friends,
that was
and we
really
did everything
hard
together? And he's like, and then all of a sudden it's like, I just like up and left. That was kind of weird, huh? Like, and just like, and it was just cool to talk about, like, now we got mortgages and we've got, it was just a very nice full circle
kind of a
thing. I
perfect
really liked it. Yeah, and like Dean said, it kind of like I watched the video and I just had like this big goofy grin on my face. I'm like,
Yeah,
that connected with me in a way it really never should have because I was
Right.
not a fan of Blue's Clues. It was just very nice, and I mean I was somewhat familiar with the show, but yeah, it was
'Cause-
really cool.
him back then and him now doing that video. He never talked down to get kind of like me.
Yeah.
When you never talk down to somebody, Nick, that means like when you talk about somebody that's probably a little lower than you, and you know,
Uh-huh.
it means like talking down to them. So, yeah, the one thing that I did to get out of it was that I really want him to get a job in TV again, but not in kid show. Like I want him to do something. You know what? Let's bring it full circle. Let's all get together and give him Jeopardy.
Oh, there you go.
I would
Hey.
watch Steve host Jeopardy.
This question's kind of hard, right?
Right.
You know, it
I
is
got a
kind of hard,
clue.
Steve.
Yeah.
Blue
It is kinda
comes
hard,
out,
Steve.
trots a clue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
It's
all
funny you
for
said that. It's funny you said that because it was such a connection of like, you know, could you picture him doing a? It's like, as we all know, as being an adult, sometimes it's, you know, as we all know, it can be very difficult. You have us all, you know,
Sucks.
for various reasons. But would it be interesting to have a guy like that say, "Hey, you know,
Yeah.
being an adult's kind of hard, right?" And we'd all
Your
be like,
daily
"Yeah,
affirmation.
Yeah.
it is hard, Steve.
Yeah,
Steve.
Tell us
You
what's going
goddamn
on."
right, Steve.
Yeah,
Maybe I wouldn't
And-
drink so much if it wasn't so hard, right? Steve fucking ain't right, Steve.
and
You know
that
what was
guy.
one cool thing?
Yeah. Anyway.
When I'd watch that documentary or whatever, the bit on him or the spot, when he was done with Blue's Clues, he did do like a guest spot on like some sort of CSI or, you know, whatever drama
NYPD
show.
Blues Clues.
Well done. But he played a young drug dealer because
Okay.
one thing he wanted to do, he is early 20s. He probably wanted to, all right, let me get away from that. I want to do something completely different. So he played
Right.
and it showed the clip of him, looked all drugged out and stuff. And I think that was probably like his last acting, job or whatever. But I want him to have a job now. I don't know what it is or where it is, but I want to see him on a regular basis.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can we get a cameo of Steve doing like, hey, finding a good podcast's hard, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, is he on? Oh, I'm going to look up if he's on Cameo.
Oh, he's got to be out there.
We got to get a spot.
I mean,
not,
that spot is going to be like hundreds of dollars.
Sure.
That's what we're using our $10 that we've made off this podcast in 1 year. That's what we're doing on. We're chipping in.
Steve from Blues Clues.
Not quite $10, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pump the brakes on that. Having a successful podcast that is, yeah.
We're close to being able to. We're close to buying a pint at night. We're close. One pint, not three.
Look at that.
Yep.
One pint.
3 straws. We're good to go.
Yep.
All of us staring into each other's eyes as we drink at the same time. I like
This
this.
is what success tastes like, boys.
that would be the best
beer out of a straw shared with 2 other guys.
That would be about the best beer we ever had in our lives, though.
Actually, if that's not a fucking promo picture, sometimes soon.
Yes, I like that.
With 3 straws,
I like
with the
that.
bendy straws.
That's hilarious.
And
a beer.
That's hilarious. Add the straws. I can provide the straws.
In this class.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, get the big mug.
Yeah, gotta have the big one.
Yeah, the big one. Yep.
Yeah.
Show it up there.
Yeah,
Nick.
there you go. Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's perfect.
We have to get bigger straws, but
Yep.
I mean, we think it's a good idea, but since we're doing this, what does Bobblehead Nick think?
Bobblehead Nick.
It's been a while since we got his opinion on stuff.
Bobblehead Nick.
Bobblehead Nick, should we all take this promo picture?
Bobblehead Nick.
Or you
No,
froze, so it got
Bobblehead Nick.
weird.
Sorry. Bobblehead Nick does not like it.
Fuck
No.
Bobblehead Nick.
He doesn't think. But wait, is he being pushed aside? And Drunk Uncle says yes.
Drunk Uncle's all
Drunk
about
Uncle
it.
says yes. Yeah.
I like that.
Twitter me. Twitter
right.
me. Yeah, there we go.
Excellent.
Yep.
Okay, so go check that out, Steve, from Blues Clues.
And and our YouTube
This is
video
why-
if you want to know what
this is-
any of
Yes.
this meant.
Why you come to YouTube and not listen?
That's right.
Well, don't tell him not to. Oh, jeez, you're getting this weird. Hold on, I didn't tell you to stop.
That's what happens with drunk uncles. You know what's up.
Oh, I know.
All right, so
Weird turn off of the wholesome Blues Clues talk, eh? Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with
Yeah. Boy,
drunk uncle and bobblehead Nick making out.
this
Again,
episode,
watch the YouTube video.
if we're trying to put a graph on the emotional ups and downs of this episode, it's really 9/11, drunk
9/11.
uncle, Steve, Blues
Nick
Clues.
making out with drunk uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, this is
Okay.
real life, all right?
That's
It
right.
is.
Life
Yeah,
is
that's right.
messy and it's
Yeah.
emotional and it's sad and traumatic and also
Yeah.
wholesome and wonderful and a little bit
Right.
sexy sometimes, and it's just all happening.
And
All
it's,
condensed
and it's
in this
hard
episode.
sometimes, right? You know.
Right, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Sometimes it gets really hard, like really hard.
Right. Well, when you watch Nick make out with drunk uncle, it really gets hard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Brian pivot.
Yes, indeed.
Brian pivot.
So, yeah. So how about this? Now, last week, Dean, you started you suggested an idiot review,
Idiot
an
review?
movie review. Let's broaden it though a little bit though. So we talked
Okay.
about this off camera. So, an idiot review of something this past week that you enjoyed, show, movie, book, comic book, whatever, something over the past week that gave you some you recommend to others. I almost said that gave you some joy, and I would set Dean up too much. So just over the past week that you would recommend to others for some,
I just watched
some
what
downtime.
gave me joy.
There you go. Excellent. Thank you. All right. So Nick, anything over the past week that you watched or listened to, could be music, whatever.
Or
It's anything over the
read.
past week. Yeah. Yeah. That you recommend to others and you're in your idiot review, sir.
I would recommend on a sunny day, go ahead and just gather yourself up. Go ahead and sit at a plastic table and some plastic folding chairs across from one Brian Fisher's beard and look at that glisten in the sunlight. That would be my idiot review. That was lovely. Listen, maybe some good old fashioned German polka music.
That was
maybe
good.
with a Hofbrau Oktoberfest in your hand. Just that was very nice. I would strongly recommend that.
And the question is, how many interrupting Deans do you give it?
Ooh.
0. You are just in a world of your own.
Mm-hmm.
0 interruptions from Dean, mainly because he wasn't there and wouldn't hang out with us, but also because it was just you. It's like you're locked in your own dimension with it, and it's just there's no interrupting.
Very good.
No interrupting.
Very good. So Nick didn't see or watch anything over the past week, Dean. So did you?
I watched 9/11 stuff, man. I was catching up on heartwarming tales. And
I appreciate that. That was
things.
nice.
Yeah.
We Allie and I both enjoyed that. It was very much again. So we had a great time. And your mom is such a sweet person in general. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, she is.
I watched the U.S. Open. I watched tennis. I watched the finals.
Okay.
I think that's about the only thing
that made big news.
Venture.
With the young girls winning, the teenagers, that's pretty incredible. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
we had a Canadian girl there in the finals, and she had a valiant
just
effort.
Fucking made it weird.
That's what happened. Like a 19-year-old won the whole thing, right? 18 or 19-year-old girl unexpectedly won the whole thing. So that's pretty amazing. Yep. It's a young woman, I should say. Anyway,
young woman.
Dean,
makes it sound better. Young woman.
Dean, what do you recommend? What did you see over the past week that you may recommend?
All right. So, while Nick was talking and this stuff, I was trying to think of what I watched, and like Nick said, it was a lot of 9/11 stuff. So I don't think that I watched it. There's a couple things I watched, but one thing that I'm going to put out there is Ohio football. I watched the Ohio State Buckeyes lose in their home stadium. I watched the Cleveland Browns blow a first half lead
That is so uncharacteristic.
Yeah. Eat my ass. And you, as a Leafs fan,
I'm just saying you can't be shocked. I'm not when the Leafs do
but
it.
they looked so good, and they came
Because
out
you do
and they
this
were
every year. Why are you doing? You're doing
but
it to
they
yourself.
punched him in the mouth, and they were good, and it felt good to watch football, especially after watching Ohio State on Saturday shit the bed.
Mm-hmm.
So I am recommending, as of what I saw, is in my review, and I will. How many interrupting Deans are we giving this scale? Let's go 1 to 10. I think 1 to 10 is a better scale. 1 to 5. It's
Sure.
a broader deal.
Okay.
So I am going to go to a 15 interrupting Deans. I will interrupt and talk through all of that horse shit.
Sure.
Because it was horrible to watch. It hurt my soul.
Yep. Both teams had a chance to win. But the Bengals won. So that was good. The
Hey,
Cincinnati
Ohio
Bengals
football. There you go.
I was trying to remember the last time that the between Ohio State, Cleveland Browns, and the Cincinnati Bengals, that only the Bengals won in the same weekend. It's probably been a while. It's I think it's interesting.
Well, yeah, the Buckeyes. I mean, and typically, don't they? Who did the Buckeyes play?
It was a ranked team, Oregon.
Was it? I would say, don't they typically start off like? I mean, the bigger schools will play.
Yeah.
Well, they played Minnesota last week. They
so
started
it wasn't
with
their
Minnesota
first
last
game;
week.
it was their home opener. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep. So that was a big loss.
So they're basically fucked now, right? College football is like you're supposed to be a good team and you lose a game like you're fucked.
Yeah. They were ranked third. They have to win out and hope that other teams lose to get back in it. It's still possible. It's not like they lost.
I don't even think they'll be goddamn ranked.
No, they're like 11th or 9th or something like that. So they have a shot.
Too high.
We'll see. Okay. Well,
oh, how the mighty have fallen.
A couple of things I've been watching. I know you've been watching. So I am a huge Walking. Well, at least earlier on, The Walking Dead on AMC. This is the 10th or 11th season. It's the final season of that show. Now they're going to branch out and do other. They already have other universes within the zombie world that are interesting, other series. But this is the last season of the Walking Dead series. It started the whole thing. The last couple years, seasons have been not so sure. But this season so far, I've been catching up on it. It's so far so good. It's with. I know you guys don't really watch it, but good storyline. There's a whole dynamic between one of the main characters, Maggie, and this other guy, Negan. And we talked about this before. Negan's a guy with a baseball bat that I've dressed up at Halloween. I've shared this before.
But I did see a meme that he lost his fucking leather jacket. He's like in a windbreaker now or some shit.
Yeah, it's
weird.
He's trying to be. Is he good? Is he not good?
I just saw the picture and I remember how Brian dressed up for Halloween.
It's like, are they in a zombie apocalypse? Yeah. I doubt that the chicness of their outfits are first on. I mean, if it's believable.
You're going on, I mean, he was like I said, I didn't see it, but the look of the character was badass. You know, he had the gray
Actually,
beard.
Windbreakers are very in right now, so.
But not badass.
That makes a difference.
Well, you try to kill a zombie in a windbreaker.
You wear them with the right
They
shades.
hear you coming.
Yeah. And the right fanny pack, maybe? Like a little crossbody bag, a little action.
Is Drunk Uncle going to kill a zombie? What did you just describe there?
But you're right. But earlier in the series, he was a badass. The dynamic is he killed this woman's husband literally with a baseball bat in front of her. Okay. And now he was in locked up in their camp for a while. Now he's back out. She wants to kill. It's this whole thing. So it's this whole dynamic of that's going on. The special effects continue to be amazing. The current episodes I'm watching was just episode 2 or 3. They're stuck in a subway train, and the zombies are coming, and they have to pry the doors to keep. It's very, very good. So compared to the last couple seasons, started. Yes,
okay.
Yeah, it's a few episodes in. You can see it on demand on AMC, on its app. check that out if you're interested in the zombie stuff at all. Pretty good storyline. So definitely recommend it there. And I know at least Dean, you and I have seen. Speaking of zombies, the last What If episode, the Marvel What If
But the
on
last
Disney
one.
Plus.
See, that's why I didn't go with that one, because I thought that was
Okay.
going to be a separate topic. But yeah, that was awesome. The ending brings you and makes you need and hope that there will be another continuation of that episode.
Yes, absolutely. So
There's a cliffhanger.
Absolutely. The Marvel Zombies, they made various alternate universes in graphic novels and comics and stuff in the Marvel universe. I talked about this before, but go back and like the first two storylines of the Marvel Zombies, just fantastic. So the storyline basically is it's an alternate universe, like a what if type universe in the comics. The zombie apocalypse happens. Marvel heroes get infected. And you can imagine a superhero zombie is almost impossible to stop. So they overpower the human race easily. Earth in the comic series gets overrun. And then in the comic series, Earth is already done. So now they're going out to find other planets. So they're basically eating the entire universe, if you want, affecting and what happens.
That's
it's
what I'm talking about.
It's a great thing. Absolutely. It's a really goal in life, right? But in the what if, Dean, right? It's a similar concept to where a zombie virus comes in, infects various heroes. There's a band of heroes that are not infected that's trying to find a cure somehow to save the human race. A lot of different twists and turns that are very interesting and unexpected.
I'll tell you what's interesting about that, Brian, is that out of how many episodes there have been? 4, 5?
5, I think. Yeah.
And 2 of those, the turning point or the main point of what had happened was the Pims.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. Yeah, they're both
without giving away, if nobody's gone back and saw them, there's 2 episodes, and this being one, where the Pims from the Ant-Man series are kind of the pivoting point.
They are.
You wouldn't think that they would use that, but I guess, especially this one, the survivors, I mean, are some of the side, character side heroes. So.
Yes. Yeah, so very good story. The What If series is doing a great job with it. So go check those out if you have not already. Highly recommended. So that's our idiot reviews. Anything else you guys want to mention as far as recommendations for the week, gentlemen?
Anything we're looking forward to? Maybe.
Yeah, good topic. Anything you're looking forward to, Dean, in particular?
There's a rumor that the next episode of What If, evil Doctor Strange comes back. I don't know if it's this episode or upcoming, but the rumor is that one of the upcoming episodes, evil Doctor Strange comes back. So I'm looking forward to that.
Evil Doctor Strange.
Interesting.
If you'd watched any of the other ones, you would understand what that means.
I've seen all of them except the zombies one.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, the last 2 I watched kind of run together because I only have, they just didn't interest me. But I was kind of, I watched them. They were on.
Would you be interested in the What If episodes done for Star Wars? And now I know that they're going to
probably because I would, because I know more about Star Wars than it's too much. And actually I worry that they're going to do that with Star Wars for me, that it's just going to be too much. To understand everything, you got to watch fucking 82 movies and it's too much. Don't get me wrong. I like a lot of these characters. I don't need to know every intricacy of every different reality of every day. It's a lot for me. It's too much. It's too much. But yeah, if it was Star Wars, I'm more well versed in Star Wars. I would be interested in that because I can follow along with the characters more.
Well, the next thing of Star Wars is going to be a kind of What If, I think. It's going to be they took some Japanimation creators and had them do versions of Star Wars. It's going to be on Disney Plus and whatnot. But I guess they're going to do their interpretation of some of the episodes or some of the movies, or I don't exactly know the scope of it, but it's their interpretation. So the characters and the story and stuff. So not quite what if, but it's an interpretation of said episodes.
Okay.
Very good. Excellent.
Interesting.
Nick, anything you're looking forward to, Nick?
Anything I'm looking forward to? I get to go play hockey tomorrow. I don't know. I'm on a day-to-day basis. I don't know. I know they got that, but yeah, I don't even know what's going on this weekend. Honestly, I know there's a busy couple months coming up for me as far as things, and we got family coming into town and things like that. So
let's rephrase. Anything you're looking forward to in pop culture or TV or anything like that?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No.
Way to stay on point there, Nicholas.
Yeah.
No.
That's okay.
In the next week? No.
Okay.
All right.
Nick, I'm going to give Nick
next
one
week,
here.
Nicholas, hold on.
Go ahead.
Real quick, Nicholas, next week, turn on the TV. Even if it's a fucking rerun of Friends, come back next week with that review. If it's a review of an episode of Friends, review that.
Well, I watched like 15 episodes of Friends every day, but I mean, it's like,
pick one.
I've been watching Barry a lot. That's a good show. Bill Hader. That's,
See, you could have used that.
Well, I don't know what you guys talk about, like Marvel and stuff. I don't know. It's like I've been watching that. Okay.
If
Nick,
you
I'm gonna give you
watched your son take a shit, talk about that.
I'm going to give you Nick one right now.
Yeah.
Okay. This is not a joke.
Okay.
This just was announced today in social media. Okay.
Okay.
He ain't watching it.
No, wait. No, he's going to watch this movie. I guarantee it. It's a sequel to a movie from 1988. Okay.
Okay.
That I guarantee Nick will watch. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is it The Dark Crystal?
No. It's a sequel to the movie Twins.
I will watch that.
Yeah.
I will watch that.
Triplets or something like that, right?
That's exactly what it is. Triplets. Schwarzenegger, DeVito, and Tracy Morgan.
Okay.
Is coming in to be the triplet.
They're replacing
Eddie Murphy.
Was he in Twins? I don't remember him being in Twins.
No. But I guess he was being talked about to be in triplets.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
And whatever happened, I don't know. I didn't get into the whole article here, but honestly, I love Eddie Murphy. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But today, right now, Tracy Morgan, probably one of the funniest people around.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm going to get somebody pregnant.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was announced today. So that will be happening. So I don't know exactly when, but there you have it. So Nick, that is something we can look for, and I'm sure we'll discuss it. The force is willing on this particular podcast when it does occur.
Do they know when that's? They don't know when.
It's just announced. I don't think they have any of that yet. So it was they kind of have a go, and it's going to be happening and all that type of stuff.
And I'm gonna break the fourth wall down real quick for us. Guys, if I'm pretty sure I watched a movie this weekend or this, over the past week, or a TV show. If we do that, at least write it on your stupid hand. I should have write it somewhere just to remind you that you watched something. Because that's why I use this football game, because I don't. There's been so much. It's been a hectic week, and there's a lot going on. I buried a dead body. There's just a lot going on. So I just
confusing.
need to write. Yes, very.
I talked about that. I watched tennis.
I look at Nick's legs during the week in shorts, and a lot of things are confusing.
Well,
So we should just write it down.
The hair on it weird to you?
And that was what did it. But let's write it down and remind ourselves what we watched. I guess at least one thing. Even if it is a Friends episode.
Some may accuse that of being prepared. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to. I
I'm
don't
not
want to
sure.
be accused of
That's
that.
not really our thing, though. Like, we don't really, or at least we don't. Brian really does,
No,
but like we don't
it's
really
okay.
do that.
That's all right. Yeah, it's fine. So some good things to look forward to.
Vert to
Absolutely.
Ferk.
Vert, yeah,
Vert to
fur to
fur.
fur, right? Okay. All right. So on that note, I think it's a good opportunity to wrap it up here, gentlemen.
Yes.
So, Nick, you
All
remind
right.
the folks where it can be found, sir, please.
Absolutely. We can be found on all of our social media channels and links and things of that nature on our Convincing Idiots link tree. That's LINKTREE, Convincing Idiots link tree. Put that in Google and it will take you there, along with links to where our most recent podcast episodes can be found, our email address, all that stuff as well. You can also find all that information on our Convincing Idiots website. That's convincingidiots.wordpress.com. And there you will find all of the nifty things about us and where to find us and when you can expect to hear more from us. So, for this, another episode of Convincing Idiots, I am your millennial. My name is Nick.
Oh, I'm Dean, the Zennial.
I'm Brian, Gen X.
Have we convinced you? Being an adult, it's really hard, isn't it? Yeah, got a lot of responsibilities now.
It is.
It could be your responsibility. It could be an opportunity to have your responsibility be to join us again next week. Think on that.
Okay.
You'll make the right decision. You always do.
And whatever you're doing, you look great.
That's right.
Keep it up.